Hello, guys. I think a part of me knew this would be part of it, but Creator is putting it heavy on my heart today. Right now, I was like, can I lay down for a minute? So I laid down for a minute. And I got my baby blanket. I cut a hole in it, turned my blanket into a little panchito. It's all toasty and warm. I have my binky, some tea. There are things not a lot of people make it out of that I know I'm supposed to express in some amount of detail for not just how I made it out, but I made it out with God. And when I say God, I do mean God, the ancestors, understanding the breath of life from me to you, understanding who Oshun and Yamaya and Oya are, and that they love and support me, and they are our greatest ancestors. Ogun and Freya, south to north, north to south, east to west. These deities are, especially elemental deities, are some of our greatest ancestors, and they can speak to us in ways that are divine, that instantly when you hear them speak to you, you are relieved of any fear, any doubt that what you're doing is what you're meant to be doing, or that you are here for a reason. They fill you with such grace and presence and understanding that your fire for life is the ultimate fire for life. And so we're gonna talk about some things that are very trigger warning, and I'm just sitting with this feeling because I know what I'm being called to share, what parts of my story I'm being called to share, and how I truly made it out of that was through knowing grace and divinity. It was through knowing that I am a divinely protected child of God, and if they can't break my spirit, they can't fucking touch me. And yeah. So I was severely misused as a child, and the pussy portal I used was not a good creature. My Earth Mother was, birth giver, was not a good creature. The original one was. The divine was. My spirit knows that deeply, and because we cling so deeply to that, we know that that is a large aspect or very significant key to me surviving those things, because most humans don't survive those things. They kill themselves. Like statistically, 9 to 11 years old is when I struggled with depression, like wanting to kill myself. the first time, and it was because of the sexual abuse and trauma I received as a child. And to know that 99% of little girls kill themselves in that stage after going through what I experienced. That in the next stage, 11 to 17, 11 to 18, another 99 to 97% of little girls kill themselves. And then again, that 17 to 21, those statistics just ring the same. And for the ones that make it past 21, they're usually on some type of hardcore drug or severely abusive relationships. They don't have healthy connections in life because of it. Even if they don't choose to do drugs and try to do therapy, they still end up using some form of medicine, which I did. 21 to 24, I tried some prescription meds, talking with doctors and therapists about what had happened. And I didn't stay on them for long. I couldn't stand the way the substance felt in me. I don't like feeling under the influence of a substance. I have a very strong spirit. Not stubborn. I know when Creator speaks to me, there's a difference between stubbornness and just a want to live, and a want to live purely and happily. These I go into all the detail. And what flashed first on my mind was not just what happened to me, because I think we always had such a strong solidarity in my own spirit, in knowing Creator and knowing that those things were wrong and that I could get over it. It was what I saw happening to my siblings, to see my brothers get hit in such ways, to see my mother get beaten in such ways, to see my little sister get treated in such ways. And I think that was the hardest part. There is an aspect of trust the process, and karma is real, and a lot of people "17 Years a Slave" is coming to mind. I think it's a historic movie, but it does have an aspect of truth to what a lot of shaman and Reiki and people that consider themselves healers and guides for this realm say that we all have to go through. And it is something, it is a curse. It is an aspect of taught hate. No child, no adult deserves certain things. There's an aspect of karma that is very real. But karma is just mindfulness. Like, you should have known better. And so when the carcass is actually a growing child, we are meant to guide and protect them. We are meant to make sure children are protected and not teach and preach taught hate. One of those that's coming to mind right now is pretty girls need to suffer. And I remember hearing my mother say that, hearing men at church say that. Oh, it's because you're pretty. You need to go through this. No beautiful baby deserves any amount of hate from the world around them. And hate is very unnatural. We can strongly dislike something or even disagree with something and not want something in our lives. But hate is just unnatural. Very, very unnatural. And I'm not trying to get off subject with talking about these complexities of the mind, body, spirit experience here on earth. But how do we shine past some of them? How do we continue to hold faith in being the light within and seeing past these things, being able to stand up and realize we are the sun, a child of the sun, being reflected back to us. Just absolute perfection, and no one deserves that. And a lot of people don't understand that. And I wish that for you. I wish an immense amount of understanding and understanding with how precious you are and how precious life is. I think that was a good forward for going into detail and adding more depth to talking about the things that we made it out of. Trauma is not something that is fun to talk about or easy to express. I hold no shame for it. I recognize fully I was a child that had no control of the environment around them. That is also an aspect that keeps me so strong in spirit, is that I know I picked this carcass. I know I saw this girl's mother shaking her to death. And I was like, God, creator. And all the earth energy surrounded me instantly. And I was like, nope, I want that one right now. How I have said multiple times, I know I can be here anytime I want. I was very shocked and appalled by what was put before me as I was just a spirit wandering the realm. And this carcass, this existence, has been nothing but a blessing, even to my spirit. It is still wonderful to be me. Very wonderful to be me. Very, very wonderful to be me. I have no doubt about that. But it is not just the carcass. It is the spirit that houses the carcass, and the soul that lives within her. And so I have divine understanding of the carcass as an ego and how it can want what it wants, but I am ultimately the one in control of it. And yeah. What else, Holy Spirit? I feel like I'm rambling and the birds laugh at me. But I'm saying everything that I know needs to be said on this subject. I know I am a fairy. I know I saw what happened and was like, Father, all of creation, may I? For the sake of justice, I know that this little girl's mother is a very indoctrinated and broken woman. I don't think she has a soul anymore. I think she has been so broken and beaten by the experiences of this realm that she does not know God anymore. And when I say Stockholm Syndrome and indoctrination, I truly mean that. She is a shell with the saddest soul, the most broken spirit inside of her that might never be able to actually find its way out. She was severely beaten as a child. She was indoctrinated into believing that she is nothing without a man. And not only that she is nothing without a man, but that she can't leave her husband when it clearly says, even in the Bible, that you can leave him if he hits you. And she just doesn't have that at all. She believes anything men tell her, and she'll use whatever understanding she has of the carcass to save herself. In this realm, she fears death because she knows Creator is real. And that is something I would wish on no one. She knows God is real, and that's what makes her fear death so much. So they're telling me start saying all the details. And that part, like I said, I have no shame. It's just very much so, cousin, trigger warning. It is very inappropriate what I am going to share. Very unholy. These things are aspects of root work. So many curses were attempted to be put on my life, and none of them prevailed, which I can only thank God for, only thank the universe for, only thank all of creation for. So, one of my first memories in the carcass was that which I saw from the perspective of being outside of it and being put into this little girl's body, being put into her carcass, was her mother shaking her to death and then screaming at her and feeling my cheeks just so red and seeing the tears and the crying on her face because she had realized what she had done. And I remember being small and trying to jump for joy in church and being beaten and told not to move and to sit still. That is root work and curses. It is unholy. We are meant to rear our children, yes, teach them how to behave, but the severity in which a lot of churches practice it and why they call it indoctrination is because that's for the obedience of man. And we are not to obey men in such ways. We are meant to obey God in such ways. And putting on that performative act of, oh, I can make this small creature that I am here to love, guide, and protect. I can make it do what I want. And that draws in an aspect of a creative control complex, which many have, especially when they choose to become parents. And I say choose to become parents very literally. Some people are forced to become parents. That is another form of root work that is life-altering in an attempt to kill, especially the female spirit and what she houses. Making a woman, making a girl have a child is so wrong, and we know so as a society in so many different ways. There are so many different laws put here to protect young girls and children from such things. Back on track. Creator says, get back on track, girly. So, her husband liked children. I remember being very small, 4 years old, and he would have me put on dresses and dance for him. And at first, it was just that, just dancing, outside of the alcohol abuse and beatings and things where he would hit my mother. I think she did try to protect us for the first couple years. I think she did. And when I was 5-ish, that stopped. She had another little girl, and once my little sister could walk, he would make us both do those things. But he started touching me before that, before my sister was born. And he would tell her to be quiet. You don't know what's good for her. God made me the man of the house. I am the king of the household. I remember him saying that shit repeatedly, and it was the same phrase from being very young to being very old. You don't know what you're talking about, woman. And he would say that shit. And that's a severe form of gaslighting, indoctrination, and it is applied manipulation to create a subservient creature, which is very unholy. When, especially, I say very unholy, knowing that Creator gives us free will. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You can do whatever the fuck you want. We all can do whatever the fuck we want. So he would do obscene sexual acts, and then I would get out of the shower with him, and she would sit on me and sit on my legs on the ground and put my hands underneath her knees and essentially waterboard me, brushing my teeth out and screaming things at me. You're just a whore. You're just a whore. And as it progressed, as I got older, she would tell me I would be a drug-addicted whore. Oh, you're just a whore. You took my man. And things like that. He likes you because you're a slut. And that's why you deserve this. And she would beat me and put insanely hot chilies in my mouth. And these are all words or spell work, but the acts themselves are root work in the sense that they are physical, applied forces. A lot of people don't think everything they do is magic, but it is. It is a terrible form of magic. It is not black magic and it is not white magic. It is a death magic that is unholy and not a natural element of this universe. And so I'm waiting for Spirit to tell me what else, because I'm always so sure of what I know they need me to say, and I know what comes from me. I know what my little spirit wants to get out there and say sometimes, and I know what I'm being divinely guided to share, because some of these things are atrocious. Yes, I speak of light and love and making it through those things and what they truthfully are. That's root magic. Raping little girls is a severe form of root magic that makes the female carcass and its descendants, or can make the female carcass and its descendants retarded in a sense. And a lot of people don't like that word, but it is truth. It creates a disconnect, and to retard something means to disconnect a wire. To retard creates a disconnect in electrical flow. And if our body, our carcass, is an electromagnetic being, then that is exactly what it does. And so it puts these males or male carcass having creatures in a state of believing they are greater than that which they come from. There's divine understanding in knowing that a mother grows her son's balls. A man never grew his own balls, baby. A man never grew his own balls, his mother did. And so which is also an aspect of cursing, that's not an aspect. A mother did grow, it's facts, and it does make the female carcass capable of understanding and being more emotionally and intellectually more brilliant than our counterpart. And when we name our logic and our emotional self as masculine or feminine, we hinder the true brilliance or capabilities that they have, the true divinity in the guidance they can offer us as humans. Because our emotions are beneath us, but our emotions are masculine based. Just like we understand with the chakras, our 4 lower chakras are masculine, and our 3 lower chakras are masculine, and our 4 upper chakras are feminine. And so once that is understood, there is much more harmony. And I see that for others, from my spirit personally. All that is within me has always worked together for my greatest good. We never saw our emotions as less than, and we never saw our logic as more than. We never saw our logic as feminine, so much as we were able to understand that as a spirit, I am made up of masculine and feminine energy that inhabits the carcass, and the carcass is an electromagnetic being. It's a battery, so to speak, that needs to be taken care of as such, and these things have to work together in order to breathe, in order to move forward in life in any way, shape, or form. I feel so far from where I started with the start of this message, and I don't feel as though I lack focus. I feel as though my spirit is so far away from those things that we but it is just, okay, we said the things, we looked through this aspect of our DNA, and we put it down and instantly come back here in my chest, in my heart space, where we are all working together to exist and to make sure we can also connect to source. I am in my hands, I'm in the soles of my feet. I am knowing that I'm sharing what needs to be shared, and not over dramatizing things. My ego is very much so in check, and I know this, and I feel this breeze and this love and this warm hand on my back. Like, that's you, baby. You got this. You're saying exactly what you need to, and I'm not bragging, nor am I competing with any one of you or all of you. I don't compete with no one. I compete with myself. I can choose to do better every day as a spirit, but I do not compete with the world around me. In any way, shape, or form. I think I shared what needed to be shared for this segment. I'm not ashamed of my ums or how long it took or how sporadic in topic this message has come out. I know I shared what I needed to share, and what other messages I am meant to share will come out at a later time. I hope you stay safe. Know that you are always blessed and protected. Genuinely, there's so much love out there in the universe. I hope it reaches you.